Good morning to all. Welcome to Karnataka LMS E-Content. I am Nagaveni Envi, Assistant Professor of English, the Department of Collegiate and Technical Education. In today's class, I am going to explain Chapter 6 and 7 of the novel The Return of the Native, written by Thomas Hardy, prescribed by the University of Mysore to the second year B.A. optional English CBCS course, 4th semester 2020-21. The title of the paper is Victorian Fiction. In the last class, we have known about Mrs. E. of Bright and the cancellation of marriage of Thomasin and Wildeve, and a solitary figure, womanly figure, standing on the rain barrow, and Wildeve's decision to meet that solitary figure against the sky. Let us know who is that figure now. When whole Egdon Heath becomes silent and lonely, all the men and boys who were on the rain barrow celebrating the bonfire have gone home, have returned home. It has become silent. A closely wrapped woman approaches the barrow from the quarter of the heath in which still little fire is burning. Now that solitary figure, that woman, she approaches from that quarter of the heath in which still the fire is burning. All the bonfires are extincted except one on the barrow. She is the woman who stood there singularly when Riddleman had seen first. Riddleman, in the last chapter, we have seen that he had observed a solitary figure on the heath, and he thought that that figure must have an interesting and important history which he decides to know. Now she ascends to her old position at the top. She is tall and straight in build and has wrapped her form in a shawl and head in a large kerchief. ಮೇಲಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹತ್ತುತ್ತಾಳೆ, ಎತ್ತರವಾಗಿದ್ದಾಳೆ, ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಮೈಕಟ್ಟು, ನೇರ ನಿಲುವು, ತನ್ನನ್ನು ಆಕೆ ಒಂದು ಶಾಲಿಂದ ಸುತ್ತಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾಳೆ ಮತ್ತು ತಲೆಗೆ ಒಂದು ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಕರ್ಚೀಫಿಂದ ಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದಾಳೆ. The reason of standing so dead still, I quote, as the pivot of the circle of the heath is obscure. Why she is standing there in that position of dead still as the pivot of the circle of that heath? It's really obscure, mysterious. Her extraordinary fixity. Her fixity is not an ordinary one. It's an extraordinary fixity. Her conspicuous loneliness, her heedlessness of night, betokened among other things, shows utter absence of fear. ಆ ಕತ್ತಲಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬಳೆ ಕತ್ತಲಿಗೂ ಮತ್ತು and other things associated with the darkness. She did not care for all for such things, but standing alone, firmly on the heath, it shows her utter absence of fear, her attitude of absence of fear, fearlessness. It seems that she has been listening to the wind. She utters a long sigh which evidently shows that she is existing not in one languor or stagnation, but in a suppressed state. And the wind is blowing and she utters a long sigh. It mingles with the wind and it evidently shows that her state is not one of the languor or stagnation, but she is in a suppressed state. Far away down the valley, the light is still shining through the window of the inn. Kelagade, in the quiet woman inn, the light is still shining. She observes it through the window. That she watches towards the direction. She looks towards the direction of the light through her telescope. ಟೆಲಿಸ್ಕೋಪ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಬೆಳಕಿನ ಕಡೆಗೆ ನೋಡ್ತಾಳೆ. ಅಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಶಿ ಗಿವ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ ಹರ್ ಸ್ಪೈಯಿಂಗ್ ಅಟಿಟ್ಯೂಡ್. ಆ ಒಂದು ಗೂಢಚರ್ಯೆಯ ಕೆಲಸ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸ್ತಾಳೆ. ಕ್ಲೋಸಸ್ ಟೆಲಿಸ್ಕೋಪ್ and turns to the decaying embers. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೇನು ಮರೆಯಾಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಡಿಕೇಯಿಂಗ್, ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ, ನಾಶ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ, ಆರಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಎಂಬರ್, ಆ ಇದ್ದಲಿನ ಕೆಂಡದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ನೋಡ್ತಾಳೆ. She goes to the dying bonfire and takes a piece of stick which bears the largest coal at its end and returns to the place where she has been standing. She goes to the bonfire, she picks up a stick with the largest coal at the end, and then she blows over it as much as the coal is reddened until it shows her face. ಅವಳ ಮುಖ ಕಾಣೋವರೆಗೆ ಆ ಕೆಂಡ ಹತ್ತಿ ಉರಿಯಾಗಿ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಉರಿತಾಳೆ. and then she throws away the stick. Why did she do that? To show her face. With her glass and telescope under the arm, she moves along the faint foot track along the ridge, which cannot be noticed by a mere visitor even by day, but which can be haunted by only regular haunters of the heat, even in midnight, by the sense of the touch in the feet, which comes with years of night rambling in little trodden stops. After that, she moves along a path on which a stranger can never travel, even in the midday daylight. Only those who are accustomed to the night rambling can walk on that path with the experience of the touch of the feet. And she moves along that track. She is moving in the direction of the small undying fire which had drawn the attention of the men on Rain Barrow and of wildlife in the valley below. She had lighted a bonfire nearby her house, and it had been watched by all the men folk of the village and also by wildlife and also by the riddle man. And she now ascends to that place. A faint illumination from its rays begins to glow upon her face. ಅದರ ಬೆಳಕು ಅವಳ ಮುಖಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿದ್ದು ಪ್ರಜ್ವಲಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅವಳ ಮುಖ. A little boy who is lifting pieces of wood into the fire is seen. He is very glad at the approach of Eustacia. A little boy is lifting the pieces of wood into the fire. Now that boy is seen, and he is very glad when he sees Eustacia. She rebukes the boy and asks him to preserve fire by putting in one piece of wood every 2 or 3 minutes and tell her if he hears a frog jump into the pond. 1-2-3 ನಿಮಿಷಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಪೀಸ್ ವುಡ್ಡನ್ನು ಹಾಕೋದ್ರೊಳಗಡೆ ಅಂತ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹಾಕಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಬೈದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಏನಾದ್ರು ಪಾಂಡ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹಾಪ್ ಫ್ರಾಗ್ ನೆಗೆದ ಶಬ್ದ ಕೇಳಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಕರಿ ಅಂತ ಮತ್ತೆ ವಾಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾಳೆ. But the boy says that he is bored because there is nobody to play with him. She asks if nobody has come there while she has been away. The boy says he is bored because there is no one to play with him. And she asks him if he had seen anybody come there asking for her. The boy says that her grandfather had already come and he had inquired after her, and he had told him that she is walking round upon the hill to look at other bonfires, and she appreciates his intelligence. And by now the old man comes again in the direction of the fire and looks wishfully to the top of the bank where Eustacia is standing and asks her when she is coming indoors, and continues that he is tired out and it is almost bedtime, and it is surely her childishness to stay out playing at bonfires so long and wasting such fuel. ಯಾವಾಗ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬರ್ತೀಯಮ್ಮ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಫ್ಯೂಯಲ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ, ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಇನ್ನೋಸೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ, ಚೈಲ್ಡಿಶ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಫೂಲಿಶ್ ಅಂತ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಲ್ಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಾಗಿದೆ, ನನಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಟಯರ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ನೀನು ಇನ್ನೂ ವಾಕ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಬಾನ್ಫೈರ್ ಜೊತೆ ಆಟ ಆಡ್ತಾ ಕೂತಿದ್ಯಲ್ಲ, ಏನಿದು ತುಂಬ ಚೈಲ್ಡಿಶ್ನೆಸ್ ನಿಂದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಫ್ಯೂಯಲ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ, ನಾನು ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಪ್ರೆಷಿಯನ್ ಥಾರ್ನ್ ರೂಟ್ಸ್, ಬೇರಿಂದು ಗಟ್ಟಿ ಬೇರುಗಳವು ತಾರ್ನ್ ಗಿಡದ್ದು, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರೇರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ ಫೈರಿಂಗ್, ಉರುವಲ್ಲುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಅಪರೂಪದ ಉರುವಲ್ಲ ಇದು. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾನು ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, which he has kept for Christmas. ಕ್ರಿಸ್ಮಸ್ಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾನು. ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಶಿ ರಿಪ್ಲೈಸ್ ಇನ್ ಎ ವೇ ಆಫ್ ಒನ್ ಅಬ್ಸಲ್ಯೂಟ್ ಕ್ವೀನ್ ಥರ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಡ್ತಾಳೆ. ದಟ್ ಶಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸ್ ಜಾನಿ ಎ ಬೋನ್ ಫೈರ್. ನಾನು ಬೋನ್ ಫೈರ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಜಾನಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಪ್ಲೀಸಸ್ ಹಿಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ಟು ಲೆಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಗೋ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಎಟ್. ಇಷ್ಟು ಬೇಗ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಮುಗಿಸೋದು ಇಷ್ಟ ಇಲ್ಲ ಜಾನಿಗೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಜಾನಿ ಲುಕ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ ಅಟ್ ಹರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೇಸ್ ದಟ್ ಹಿ ಡಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಎನಿ ಲಾಂಗರ್. ನಾನು ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು, ನನಗಿನ್ನೂ ಇದು ಬೇಕಾಗಿನ್ನು ಇನ್ನು ಬೇಡ ಇದು ಅಂತಾನೆ. ಬಟ್ ದ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಫಾದರ್ ಡಿಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಹಿಮ್. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಹಿ ಟರ್ನ್ಸ್ ಟುವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಹೋಮ್ ಸೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಹಿ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ ಅನ್ಗ್ರೇಟ್ಫುಲ್ ಬಾಯ್. ಅವನ್ನೇ ಬೈಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು. Itacia gently tells Johnny to stay a little longer and promises a cricket sixpence. ಇನ್ನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೊತ್ತು ಇರೋ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಶಿ ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸಸ್ ಹಿಮ್ ಟು ಗಿವ್ 6 pence and to put in one piece of food every 2 or 3 minutes but not too much at once. ಒಂದೊಂದು ಸಾರಿಗೆ ಎವ್ರಿ 2-3 ಮಿನಿಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ 1 ಪೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಫುಡ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಹಾಕು, ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಹಾಕಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅವಳು ಹೊರಡ್ತಾಳೆ. ಶಿ ಈಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ವಾಕ್ ಅಲಾಂಗ್ ದ ರಿಡ್ಜ್ ಎ ಲಿಟಲ್ ಲಾಂಗರ್ ಬಟ್ ಶಿ ಶಲ್ ಕೀಪ್ ಆನ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಹಿಮ್. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ವಾಕ್ ಆನ್ ದ ರಿಡ್ಜ್ ಬಟ್ I will keep on coming to you and you should run and tell her if he hears a frog jump into the pond with a flounce like a stone thrown in because it's a sign of rain. ಏನಾದ್ರು ಫ್ರಾಗು ಪಾಂಡ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಜಂಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, if he hears the sound like the stone thrown in the pond, he should come and inform her because it's a sign of rain. She again stands still on the bank for a few instants and listens. After her attentive survey of the wild slopes, she becomes quite impatient. She impatiently surveys the slope. She is waiting for someone. She utters few words with sighs and again descends and moves towards the rainbow. Again she sighs and utters sighs and descends and again moves towards the rainbow. Twice she reappears to the boy and each time she says, "Not any flounce into the pond yet, little man?" The child says, "Not yet." 2 ಸರಿ ಬಂದ್ಲು, 2 ಸರಿನ ಕೇಳಿದ್ಲು, ಏನಾರು ಫ್ರಾಗ್ ಜಂಪಿಂಗ್ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ? ನೋ ಅಂದ ಹುಡುಗ. ಶಿ ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸಸ್ ಹಿಮ್ ದಟ್ ಸೂನ್ ಶಿ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ಹಿಮ್ ದ ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟ್ 6 pence. ಅವ್ನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾನಲ್ಲ ಫೈರ್ ಹಾಕ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಆ 6 ಪೆನ್ಸ್ನ ಮನೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಇನ್ನೇನು ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ನಿನಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾಳೆ. ಶಿ ಅಗೇನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಲ್ಸ್ ಅವೇ, ಗೋಸ್ ರೌಂಡ್ ಟು ದ ವಿಕೆಟ್ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ದ ಹೌಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಮೋಷನ್ಲೆಸ್ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ಸ್ ದ ಬಾಯ್. ಶಿ ಗೋಸ್ near her house, stands before the wicket. From there she observes the boy. The boy runs to her with the words that a hop frog has jumped into the pond. Hop frog pondalli ಬೀಳ್ತು, ಜಂಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತು ಅಂತ ಓಡ್ ಬಂದು ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. She tells that then it is the sign of rain and sends him home giving the cricket 6 pence. ಆ ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟ್ 6 pence ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಸೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ರೈನ್, ಯು ಗೋ ಹೋಮ್ ಅಂತ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾಳೆ. Itacia, leaving her telescope and her glass by the gate, rushes forward towards the angle of the bank under the fire. She waits there and in a few moments a splash is audible from the pond outside. She goes near the bank of the pond and in a few minutes she hears the sound of splash from the pond. If the boy were there, he would have said that a second frog had jumped in, but by most people the sound would have been likened to the fall of a stone into the water. ಆ ಹುಡುಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿದ್ದರೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಫ್ರಾಗ್ ಜಂಪ್ ಆಯಿತು ನೀರೊಳಗೆ ಅಂತಿದ್ದ. ಬಟ್ ಟು ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ದ ಸೌಂಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಜಂಪಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಹಾಫ್ ಫ್ರಾಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಥ್ರೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೋನ್ ಥ್ರೋನ್. Itacia steps up on the bank and says yes and holds her breath. Now she steps up on the bank. ಆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಪಾಂಡ್ನ ದಡದ ಬಳಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾಳೆ. ಈಗ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಹರ್ ಬ್ರೀತ್, ಎಸ್ ಅಂತಾಳೆ. Now the form of a man becomes dimly visible. ಈಗ ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಯ ಪುರುಷನ ಆಕಾರ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. and he comes round and leaps upon the bank beside her. ಈ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂದ ಆ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅವಳ ಪಕ್ಕ, ಆ ಪಾಂಡ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಂದರೆ ತೀರ, ಅದರ ಪಕ್ಕಕ್ಕೆ ಜಂಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಿಂತ್ಕೋತಾನೆ. ಶಿ ಲಾಫ್ಸ್. ಹರ್ ಲಾಫ್ಟರ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಇಂಡಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಟ್ರಯಂಫೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ಲೆಜರ್. ಅವನು ಹಾಗೆ ಬಂದು ಜಂಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವಳ ಪಕ್ಕ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಶಿ ಲಾಫ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ಲಾಫ್ಟರ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಟ್ರಯಂಫೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ಲೆಜರ್. ದಿಗ್ವಿಜಯ ಸಾಧಿಸಿದಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸಂತೋಷದ ನಗು. Without speaking, she looks joyously at him as upon some wondrous thing she has created out of chaos. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಖೇಯಾಸ್, ಕೋಲಾಹಲದಿಂದ ತಾನೇ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡಿದಂಥ ಒಂದು ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್ ಥಿಂಗ್, ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿನ ಅನ್ನೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಶಿ ಲುಕ್ಸ್ ಅಟ್ ಹಿಮ್ ವಿತ್ ಫುಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿನೆಸ್. ದ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಈಸ್ ವೈಲ್ಡಿ. ಹೂ ಇಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್? ವೈಲ್ಡಿ. He says with emotion but in a level tone. Emotionally but in a balanced tone, he says, I have come. You give me no peace. Why do you not leave me alone? ಬಂದೆ, ನಂಗೆ ನೆಮ್ಮದಿನೇ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಯಾಕೆ ನೀನು ನನ್ನ ಪಾಡಿಗೆ ಬಿಡಲ್ಲ? ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೀನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಬಾನ್ ಫೈರ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್. ಆ ಬಾನ್ ಫೈರ್ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. She calmly replies that why she should not have a bonfire on the 5th of November like other denizens of the heath. Like other denizens of the heath, why shouldn't she have a bonfire on the 5th of November? A celebration, day of celebration. He says that he knows it is meant for him. Yes, other denizens light bonfire for their enjoyment, celebration of festival. But your bonfire is for me. It is meant for me. She asks him how he knows it. Because she has not spoken a word with him since he had chosen Thomasin and walked about with her. How can you say that? I have not spoken to you a single word since you have chosen Thomasin and deserted her and walked about with her. And as if she had never been in his life. ನಾನು ನಿನ್ನ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ವೇನೋ ಅನ್ನಾಗಿ ಅವಳನ್ನ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೊಟ್ಟಾಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ತಮಾಸಿನ. ಆವಾಗಿಂದ ನಾನು ಏನಾದ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದೀನ? ಹೆಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯಿತು? And so irretrievably, he reminds her that the last autumn at the same day of the month and that same place she had lighted exactly such a fire as signal for him to come and see her, which he cannot forget. He says, he reminds her, in the last autumn also, on the same day, at the same place, she had lighted exactly such a fire as a signal for him to come and see her. How can he forget that? She tells him not to speak to her as he did in the past. ಹಿಂದೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿದಾಗ ನನ್ನ ಜೊತೆ ನೀವು ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಡಿ. He has given him up and resolved not to think of him anymore. I have given you up. ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನ. And resolved, ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, never to think of you as before. ಹಿಂದಿನ ಥರ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ. She has got the fire after she has heard about him because she has been faithful to him. Yes, I have lighted the fire because I have heard something about you. I am still faithful to you, but I am not in love with you. I am faithful to you. I wanted to know and to sympathize after what I have heard about you. While you ask her with astonishment what she has heard, she murmurs that he did not marry Thomasin. ಏನು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ಯಾ? ಮದುವೆ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ವಂತಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೂ ತೊಮಾಸಿನ್ಗೋ. And it is because he loves Anastasia best. ಯಾಕೆ ಮದುವೆ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿ? You love me best. He has been cruel to her, which she will never forget. Yes, you loved me, but went with her to marry her. I will never forget your cruelty, but which she will never forget. And it is too much for a woman of any spirit to be overlooked. Whatever may be the spirit of a woman, high or low or middle, but it's really an insult or too much for a woman to bear that insult of being neglected or overlooked. And in that stage of love, he says he would not have come there if she has intended only to reproach him. ಬರೀ ಬೈಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಇದ್ದರೆ ನಾನು ಬರಲೇಬಾರ್ದಾಗಿತ್ತು. She says that she forgives him entirely. Yes, I forgive you. Even then, for he has not married her. Because you have not married Thomasin and has come back to her. You have come back to me. Now I will forgive you. He asks her, who has told her that? She says that her grandfather, who took a long walk, was told by someone that the wedding was broken off. He questions her if anybody else knows it. ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರಿಗಾರು ಗೊತ್ತಾ? She says that nobody knows it and that she would not have lit the fire if he has become her husband. If you had married her, if you have become her husband, Thomasin's husband, I would never have lit the fire. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಂಕಿನೇ ಹಚ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. Because it is an insult to her pride to do so. ಆ ಥರ ನಿನ್ನ ಮದುವೆ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ನಿನಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಂಕಿ ಹಚ್ಚಿದ್ರೆ, ಬಾನ್ ಫೈರ್ ಹಚ್ಚಿದ್ರೆ, ನನಗೆ ನಾನು ಇನ್ಸಲ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆಗ್ಯದು. ಶಿ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ದಟ್ ಶಿ ನೋಸ್ ದಟ್ ಹಿ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ವರ್ದಿ ಆಫ್ ಹರ್. ಎಸ್, ಮುಂದುವರಿತಾಳೆ. He is not worthy of her. Though he is not worthy of her, she had loved him. She has loved him. And yet she loves him. She asks him if it is not true that he cannot give her up and he still loves her best of all. He is not married because he still loves her best and he cannot give up. He says that he still loves her. Yes, I still love you. But he does not have fidelity as a great merit in him. ನಾನು ಲವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಬಟ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ fidelity. I don't have fidelity to you. And fidelity is not a great merit in me. ನನಗೆ ಆ ಪ್ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಥಿರತೆ, ದೃಢತೆ ಇದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಚಂಚಲ ಮನುಷ್ಯ. ಅದೊಂದು ಮೆರಿಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ ಅದು. And is unworthy to her. I am not worthy to you. However, the curse of inflammability is upon her. ಆದ್ರೂ I am attracted to you. That is, that curse of inflammability is upon her and he must live under it. I cannot go away from your attraction and I have to live under your attraction only and take any snub from a woman. ನೀನೇನಾದ್ರು ನನಗೆ ನಿನ್ಸೋ, I accept it because I cannot go away, get rid of your attraction, your fascination, my fascination towards you. His infidelity has brought him down from engineering to an innkeeping. What lowest stage it has in store for him, he has yet to learn. He is not a man of firmness in love. Fidelity illa. And because of my infidelity, though I had studied engineering, I have come down in my life. And I don't know towards what my infidelity will lead to me, to which low level or what is in store for me because of this quality of infidelity. She now puts her shawl around him and asks if he has seen anything better than her shawl during his journey or on Thomas's shoulders. Eager romantically, she puts her shawl around him, throws her shawl towards him and asks if he has seen anything more beautiful than this shawl or during his journey to Anglebury or on Thomas's shoulders. He says that Thomasin is a pleasing and innocent woman. Thomasin ತುಂಬ ಪ್ಲೀಸಿಂಗ್, ಖುಷಿ ಕೊಡುವಂಥ ಇನ್ನೋಸೆಂಟ್ ವುಮನ್ ಅವಳು, ಮುಗ್ಧ ಹೆಂಗಸು. ಬಟ್ ಶಿ ಟೆಲ್ಸ್ ಹಿಮ್ ದಟ್ ದರ್ ಆರ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಹಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಶಿ ಟು ಥಿಂಕ್ ಆಫ್. ನೌ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಟು ಯು ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೀ. ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ, ನಾಟ್ Thomasin. After a long look at him, she resumes with old quiescent warmth. Must I go on weakly confessing you things a woman ought to conceal? Should I confess weakly, show my weakness that a woman ought to conceal? ಒಂದು ಹೆಂಗಸು ಯಾವ ಭಾವನೆಗಳನ್ನ ಮುಚ್ಚಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನು ಈ ಥರ ದುರ್ಬಲವಾಗಿ ನಾನು ವ್ಯಕ್ತಪಡಿಸ್ತಾ ನಿಂತ ಕಾಲ ಕಳಿಬೇಕಾ? And she can find no words to express how gloomy she has been at the dreadful belief that he had quite deserted her. When you deserted me, I don't find words to explain how much depression, how much gloomy I was. How much when you deserted me. He asked sorry for causing her pain. But she does not wholly make him responsible for her gloominess. Sorry ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. No, you're not the only responsibility for my gloominess. I quote, it is in my nature. ನನ್ನ ಸ್ವಭಾವನೇ ಹಾಗೆ. To feel like that, to feel gloomy, it is in my birth, in my blood. I was born in my blood. It was born in my blood, I suppose. He calls it hypochondriasis. Hypochondriasis is a disease of worrying for nothing, depression for nothing. ನೀವು ಕೆಲವರು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ದುಃಖದಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ನಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂತೋಷ ಪಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣ ಇದ್ರೂ ನಗಲ್ಲ. ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಗ್ಲೂಮಿ, ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್, ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ವರಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ hypochondriasis ಅಂತ ಆತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಶಿ ಹೋಲ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಹರ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದಟ್ ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಹೀತ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ another probable reason. Yes, it's you, your desertion and some quality in my blood. At the same time, her coming into that heath. ಈ heath ಕೂಡ ಹಾಗೆ ಇದೆ. very depressive. She was unhappy enough at Budmouth. She hopes Egdon will be brighter again to her. She was born and brought up in Budmouth, a sea town. And she finds Edgin Heath more melancholic, depressive, isolated. She hopes Edgin will again be brighter. Wildly hopes it will, but asks her if she knows the consequences of that recall to him. Yes, it will be brighter to you in future. But ask her, ನನ್ನ ಕರೆದಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಈಗ recalled me, no? Do you know the consequences of it? He will come to Rainbow to see her again. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾನು ಡೈಲಿ ನೀನು ನೋಡಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ. He declares that until he got there that night he intended after that one goodbye never to meet again. ನಾನು ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ ನಿನಗೆ ಒಂದು ಗುಡ್ ಬೈ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ ಅವತ್ತು ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ನೈಟು ನೆವರ್ ಟು ಮೀಟ್ ಅಗೈನ್ ಅಂತ. ಬಟ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ರೀಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಮೀ. ನೌ ಆನ್ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಆನ್ ಪೇಯಿಂಗ್ ವಿಸಿಟ್ ಟು ಯು. She becomes angry at these words and tells that he may come again to Rainbow if he likes. Yes, you had said me good night. Who told you not to come to Rainbow? If you like, you come to Rainbow. But she will not see him. ನಾನು ನೋಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇನಿದೆ ನೀವು ಬಂದರೆ. And he may call, ಕರಿಬೋದು. But she will not listen. ನಾನು ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. And he may tempt her to love him. But she will not give herself to him anymore. ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂದೆ ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ನಾನು ನಿನ್ನ ಪ್ರೀತಿನ ಒಪ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ. He reminds her that she had told that before also. ಮುಂಚೆನೂ ತಾವು ಹೀಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ. But she will not adhere to her words. ತಾವು ತಮ್ಮ ಮಾತಿಗೆ ಬದ್ಧರಾಗಿರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಹೀಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ ಮುಂಚೆ ಕೂಡ. And he is also of the same nature. You also do not stick on to your words. I also do not stick on to my words. Both are of the same nature. Both of us don't have fidelity. She says that she has won her trouble, the conflict. Yes, I have won my conflict, which asks her why she should try to recall him. When you had left me and went away with Thomasin to get her married, then only I had undergone a great conflict and I have overcome the conflict and decided never to recall you. She has become calm after his wounding. He had wounded me and I had undergone a great conflict. Now I have become so calm that after you have wounded me, she feels as if she embraces a cloud of calm and fog of trial. ನನಗನ್ನಿಸ್ತು ನಿನ್ನ ಪ್ರೀತಿಸಿ ನಾನು ಮಳೆ ತರುವ ಮೋಡವನ್ನು ಅಪ್ಕೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಎ ಕಾಮನ್ ಫಾಗ್, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಪಾಸಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಲೌಡ್, ಮಳೆ ನೀರಿಲ್ಲದ ಯಾವುದೋ ಗಾಳಿಯ ಬಂದಾಗ ತೂರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವ ಒಂದು ಫಾಗನ್ನು, ಹಿಮ ಭರಿತ ಮೋಡ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯಿತು. ಶಿ ಕಾಲ್ಸ್ ಹಿಮ್ ಎ ಕೆಮೆಲಿಯನ್. ಚೆಮೆಲಿಯನ್ ಅಂತಾರೆ ಇದನ್ನು, ಕೆಮೆಲಿಯನ್ ಬಣ್ಣ ಬಗೋಸುಂಬೆ. ಹೂ ಇಸ್ ನೌ ಅಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವರ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕಲರ್. ನೌ ಯು ಆರ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ವರ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕಲರ್. ಶಿ ಟೆಲ್ಸ್ ಹಿಮ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಹೋಮ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಶಿ ಹೇಟ್ಸ್ ಹಿಮ್. ಯು ಗೆಟ್ ಔಟ್, I hate you ಅಂತಾಳೆ. He asks if she wants to see him again. Do you want me to see here again? She says that if he owns to her that the wedding is broken off because she loves him best. Yes, you may come again to see me here. Only if you own that you love me best and because of your love for me, best love for me, you have broken off your marriage, you may come again. He says that it is not a good policy to say that. It's not a good policy to say that. ಆ ಥರ ಹೇಳೋದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ನಿಯಮ ಅಲ್ಲ. And she will get to know the extent of her power too early. ನೀನು ನನ್ನ ಮೇಲೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಪವರ್ ಹೊಂದಿದ್ಯಾ ಇಷ್ಟರಲ್ಲೇ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. When she asks about Thomasin, ಹಾಗಾದರೆ where is Thomasin now? He prefers not to speak of her to her. ಅವಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಜೊತೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾತಾಡಲಿ? He has not yet married her. I have not married her. And he has come in obedient to her call, and that is enough. I saw your bonfire, a signal to me, and I wanted to obey your call and came here, that's all. She says that she has merely lit that fire because she was dull. I did not lit that fire to call you on the barrow, but I was feeling very dull. To come out of my boredom, I had lit the fire and thought that she would get a little excitement by calling up. After that, I thought that if you are called up, I will get some excitement ನೀನು ಈಗ ಬರಂಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನ ಇಲ್ವಾ, ನಂಗೊಂಚೂರು ಎಕ್ಸೈಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ರೋಮಾಂಚನ, ಒಂಥರ ಮಜಾ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹಚ್ಚಿದೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಟ್ರಯಂಫಿಂಗ್ ಓವರ್ ಹಿಮ್, ಗೆದ್ದೆ. ಆಸ್ ದ ವಿಚ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಂಡರ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಅಪ್ ಸ್ಯಾಮ್ಯಲ್, ಆ ವಿಚ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಂಡರ್ ಸ್ಯಾಮ್ಯಲ್ನ ಕರ್ಸ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗೆ ನಾನು ನಿನ್ನ ಕರ್ಸ್ಕೊಂಡೆ. ಶಿ ಡಿಡಂಟ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಶಿ ಶುಡ್ ಕಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಕಮ್. ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಹಚ್ಚುತ್ತೀನಿ, ನಾನು ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ ಹಿ ಶುಡ್ ಕಮ್ ಅಂತ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಶಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಶೋನ್ ಹರ್ ಪವರ್. ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಶೋನ್ ಮೈ ಪವರ್ ಓವರ್ ಯು. ನೋಡು ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಭಾವ ಹೆಂಗೆ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ನೀನು ಬಂದೇ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ. ಎ ಮೈಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎ ಹಾಫ್, ನೋಡು ನನ್ನ ಪವರ್. ಎ ಮೈಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎ ಹಾಫ್ ಟು ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫ್ರೋ. ಈ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ 1.5 ಮೈಲಿ, ಆ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ 1.5 ಮೈಲಿ, 3 miles ಫ್ರಮ್ ಯುವರ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ನೈಟ್. ಈ ಕತ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ, ರಾತ್ರಿ ಕತ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ. ಇಸ್ಂಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೈ ಪವರ್ ಓವರ್ ಯು? ಶಿ ಆಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಶೋನ್ ಹರ್ ಪವರ್. ನಾನು ನನ್ನ ಪವರ್ ತೋರಿಸಿಲ್ವಾ ನಿನ್ನ ಮೇಲೆ? He shakes his head and says that he knows her too well. Yes, I know you too well and she knows him too well. ನೀನು ನನ್ನ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಗೊತ್ತು, ನನಗೂ ನೀನು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಗೊತ್ತು. He knows very well that her hot little bosom cannot play such a cold-blooded trick to save its life. I know you are not that much cruel to play game with me, to light a power and make me come up and get the excitement. You are not such a cold-blooded fellow. He saw a woman on rain barrow at dusk looking down towards his house. ನಾನು ಡಸ್ಕ್ ಮುಸ್ಸಂಜೆಯಲ್ಲಿ I saw a woman standing on the barrow looking towards my house. He thinks that he drew out her before she drew him out. ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಬರುವ ಮುಂಚೆ ತಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ ಕಡೆ ನಿಂತು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಿ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕರ್ಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ನಾವು ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಮನೆಯಿಂದ ಆ ರೇನ್ ಬಾರೋ ಮೇಲೆ ಕರ್ಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಹೂ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಪವರ್ ಓವರ್ ಹೂ? ಸೇಯಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಹಿಸ್ ಪ್ಯಾಷನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಹರ್ ನ್ಯೂ now is really revived. After coming here, I had said her good bye and I should never meet her again ಅಂತ. But after coming here, after talking to you, my passion for you is renewed. ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮರು ಜೀವ ಪಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದೆ. He leans forward towards her cheek. Saying this, he leans forward towards her cheek. But she moves to the other side of the decayed fire and asks what he means by that. He asks her if he can kiss her hand. ಹೋಗಲಿ, give me your hand to kiss ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. She denies and he requests her to allow her to shake her hand. At least shake hand ಕೊಡು ಕೈನ ಅಂತಾನೆ. But she says no to that also. Then he wishes her good night without wishing goodbye. Good night ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಗುಡ್ ಬೈ ಹೇಳೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ. She does not answer him but utters a sigh. ಅವನಿಗೆ ರಿಪ್ಲೈ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ ಅವಳು. She does not greet him or wish him. She just utters a sigh. ಒಂದೊಂದು ಆಳವಾದ ನಿಟ್ಟುಸಿರು ಬಿಡ್ತಾಳೆ. Which shakes her like a shiver. ಒಂದು ಚಳಿಯ ನಡುಗಿಸೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಆ ನಿಟ್ಟುಸಿರು ನಡುಗಿಸ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. Whenever a flash of reason darts like an electric light upon her lover. ಅವಳ ಲವರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅವಳಿಗೇನು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವನು ಇನ್ಫಿಡಲ್ ಅಂತ. And sometimes that streak of reason darts upon her, through her like an electric light and shows his imperfections. ಅವನ ಅಪರಿಪೂರ್ಣತೆಗಳನ್ನು, ಅವಗುಣಗಳನ್ನು ಅವಳಿಗೆ ತೋರಿಸುತ್ತೆ. She shivers. ಆಗ ಆ ಥರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅವನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಜದ ಅರಿವಾದಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ನಡುಗ್ತಾಳೆ. But it is only for a second, ಒಂದು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. And she loves on. Then she continues to love him. She knows that he trifles with her. She knows very well that he is playing game with her, a game of love anta. But she loves on. She cannot avoid herself from loving him. And that night she lies on her bed to sleep after such frequent shudders. She gets into her bedroom. She changes her clothes, and throughout that, in that process, till she gets into bed and lies down to sleep, she goes on shivering, getting such thoughts over him, and goes on, undergoes frequent shudders. I think you have understood this session. In this session, we have directly come to know about the love affair between Eustacia Y and Wilding. And knowing very well that Wilding has trifled with her, Eustacia continues to love him. And Wilding, after coming to her meet, his love for her is renewed. Now he thinks of marrying Eustacia and to give up Thomasin. If you have any doubt or query, post it in the comment box. Take care. Bye.